Vincent Valentine EX Turk, and this is gonna. I don't really do very many of these. Again, I don't really do anime unless I'm invested in anime. But you know, like I do with my other videos, so I don't do so I don't get copyright claims against me. My videos taken down. I will not be using any of the clips for the two combatants. Okay. For this anime death battle. This anime death battle is from the same series but different spin-offs. We got Kagato, the evil genius from Tenchi Ryoki and Tenchi Universe. You know, which in the Ryoki version, he's actually a fusion between Norike and I forgot the one white girl with the hair, the girl with I forgot the girl with the white hair, but anyways, yes. And in the universe, he's Yosho's older brother. And then the other combatant, Kagato is going to go up against Dagmyer Mess, the son of Senator Babaloon from War and Geminar series. Pretty much the son of the main villain of Tenchi War and Geminar. You know, who, you know, wants to one day take over his father's kingdom. So, yeah, that's okay, that's what it is, okay. So, Dagmyer Mess, the son of Babylon Mess, you know, and a great a sacred mechanoid master. Now, we're going to be analyzing strengths, weaknesses, and stuff like that. Alright. So, to start off, okay, Kagato has, like, not only astral space-like powers, and not only he has that, you know, lasers, that one energy sword that looks like a lightsaber, awfully like a lightsaber, but, alright, let's, you know, besides the Star Wars ripoff, he does have his own power. Kagato can control, you know, mystical forces with astral forces. You know, and even his ship, the Soja, is a mystical and astral force. You know, made with two different sides. You know, the Yin and Yang signs, which he puts his prisoners in the Yang side. You know, it took Tenchi Masaki, which the main character, to die in the Ryoki series. It took him to die in the Ryoki series to get, you know, the new power from Tsunami that Kagato wanted, which, you know, Tsunami gave Tenchi the power, you know, after he died, the second level of the Light Hawk Wings. Pretty much turned Tenchi's blue lightsaber looking thing, because that's what it looks like. I'm going to call it lightsaber because that's what it looks like. You know, it turned into his second form, and that's how Kagato was defeated in Ryoki. In Universe, Tenchi just summoned Jiraiyan power inside of him in order to do one fatal strike to defeat Kagato. Now we're going to actually include both continuity Kagatos. So Kagato has all this power. You know, he has this planet-destroying power, along with the laser sword thing, plus control over Ryoko, you know, whenever he needs to, because he partially created Ryoko. You know, in fact, that's why she was evil in the first place, because it was Kagato's control. Besides Kagato being a fusion of two, you know, different Jiraiyan females, besides being that way, even with the other continuity where he's Yosho's other brother, it doesn't matter what continuity, they both have kind of the same powers. I'd have to say for physical strength, Kagato in Universe has more of the physical thing, because he's more of the stoic warrior. But yeah, Kagato has astral and, you know, mystical powers. He's pretty much Sephiroth with a lightsaber. Now, let's go to our second combatant. Our second combatant would be Dagmyer Mess. Yes, Dagmyer Mess is strong. That's not to say he isn't. He's strong. He almost defeated Kenshi, which is Tenchi's younger brother, in War and Geminar. You know, twice. He's actually a good rival. You know, he actually goes on par with the main character. And, you know, the main character is the most powerful secular mechanoid of that series. But you know, the only thing that Dagmyer is lacking is, you know, he's not lacking in power. He's good with power, but he's, if anything, Dagmar's more like Kylo Ren. He's just too emotional. He wants to take over Daddy's throne so badly, and he's too emotional about it. You know, he's just he relies on emotions way too much in order for him to win. So I'd have to give the point to Kagato, and I'm not doing this because I'm a Kagato fanboy, but Kagato has a cool head. You know, I mean, Kagato isn't just only villainous. Like, you can feel he's a real villain, but he's calm. He has this cool, collected, you know, sophisticated, what you call, I'm trying to think of what you call, the suave, calm type of character. Kind of like, you know, he's just cool and chill about it, you know. But he would still fuck you up, you know. He would still do that. So, if anything, I'd have to give it to Kagato, because at least Kagato can plan very well, because he's not ruled by emotions, as Dagmyer is. Dagmyer is a strong antagonist, but, you know, he's more of that pretty boy with, oh, I feels, the feels, you know, the feelings, feelings, but no. I'd have to go with Kagato on emotional control. Now, for ability to pull bitches would be, well, I would have to give it to Dagmyer, because he got one woman that will do anything, absolutely anything for him, anything. And when I mean anything, This woman's this loyal. This woman, even if Dagmyer don't take a shower, and she would still blow, you know, Emira would still blow Dagmyer. Like, she would do anything with Dagmyer. With Kagato, he doesn't really care about women. In fact, in the original Ryoki, he hates women. So pretty much, Kagato would be a men's rights activist, if you really think about it. If he was a real person, he'd be a men's rights activist. So we would have to get the points to Dagmyer when it comes to, you know, who gets the bitches. It would have to be Dagmyer. Plus, girls go for, you know, nowadays, most, you know, younger girls go for the over-emotional, you know, I have a chip on my shoulder type of guy. But yeah, so at that point would go to Dagmyer. As for speed, weapons, and military, I'd say it's about the same, so it would be a draw. But, you know, without Soja, Kagato can use his, you know, his little, I call it lightsaber thing. But even if his lightsaber got broke, he still has mystical and astral powers. He has mystical and astral powers. He has planet-destroying powers. In fact, it took Tenchi, the main character of the original Ryoki series, dying once, and Tsunami bringing him back to defeat Kagato. So, for speed, they're equal, they're tied. I give them both one for speed. But for power, I'd have to give to Kagato, because Dagmyer isn't that powerful yet, you know. Even if he would have became like his father, Babaloon, that can actually, Senator Babaloon could actually fuse within Sacromechanoids. Like, he could turn into his body and his whole entire body and fuse it complete with the Sacromechanoid, you know. And he can always inhabit bodies. Even if Dagmyer had that ability, even if Dagmyer had that red eye his father had, where it made him so he can go into other bodies, I guess he could take over Kagato. But Kagato's so powerful, he'd be able to push him out. So, you know, yes, it had to still be Kagato, because, you know, even if Dagmyer learned the same kind of powers his father has, even his father couldn't go on par with Kagato. I mean, Kagato, if I could compare him to any other characters out there, he'd be like another Sephiroth, you know. Kagato is legendary. He's the most feared space pirate ever. From the GP, you know, from Drimes. In fact, Drimes take him as a serious threat. That's why they had to erase his history in universe, because he's just completely mad and crazy, you know. And, you know, he's like Broly. He's a legend. Even though Kagato's an evil legend, he's still a legend. You know, everybody knows who this dude is. For good reasons. Dagmyer is very strong. Now, if Dagmyer would have trained for years and developed the same power his father had, and trained years and years, and probably if he would have lived in Jirai and trained with Tenchi and Yosho, then Dagmyer would probably have a better chance against Kagato. But I still think Kagato would win the round because, I mean, even if that was to happen, you know, combining Universe's Kagato with the original Ryoki, that Kagato would be 10 times more powerful, even possibly stronger than Tenchi, unless Tenchi gets the second Light Hawk wings with the Jiraiyan powers. But, you know, I think the only way Dagmyer can actually really stand a chance against Kagato is if, you know, okay, if Dagmyer went to Earth or went to Earth or Jirai and took it with Kenshi, you know, Kenshi and Dagmyer become pals. This is after War Geminar. They become pals, you know, and he took him to Earth and got him trained under Yosho, like for but he'd have to be trained for years. Then he probably stand a chance to be able to beat Kagato. Of course, he might have to have a near death. He might have to have a death experience, just like Tenchi had, just to defeat Kagato. Because that's, you know, Kagato is really hard to beat. He's like super legendary. You know, he's another planet destroyer. That's why I said he's like another Sephiroth, except for the lightsaber. You know, if you really think about it, you know, if this was like Star Wars universe type of stuff, Kagato would be like an ultimate Sith Lord. At least in the Tenchi universe, that's what he's kind of like, you know. He's the master hand behind almost everything. Dagmyer is only a pawn by his father, because, you know, Babylon uses Dagmyer's over-emotional state to manipulate him to do whatever he wants so he can take over the kingdom. Which, you know, Kagato won't fall for any tricks like that, because Kagato, he's just as smart as Washu. In fact, he could even be a little bit smarter, because he planned all that stuff that happened in the original series. He planned it like it was nothing. So again, if I have to be honest, Dagmyer has a potential to win, but I think Kagato would win the match. You know, I think Kagato has stronger abilities. He's cool-headed. He's a tactician, you know. He's like Sephiroth. He's a tactician with special powers that can be planet-destroying powers. And even if he didn't have the planet-destroying powers, Kagato's a stoic warrior. That's why I say he's like Sephiroth. He's a stoic warrior, you know. The dude does... Kagato trains. He lives in battle. His life is battle, pretty much, you know. I mean, not to say Dagmyer doesn't train. Dagmyer does train and stuff like that, but you'd have to use the Mechanoid, of course. But even with the Mechanoid, the problem is Dagmyer's way too emotional, so even if he had the power, his emotional states would mess him up in the battle and distract him, and Kagato will put the fatal blow and finish Dagmyer off. And that'd be the end of Dagmyer. So I have to say Kagato wins this death battle.